Is life a tragedy or a comedy? The answer is yes. The fact is, we create the story around what happens. Welcome to Path to Peace with Todd Perlmutter. I'm your host, Todd Perlmutter. Our world is a projection of our collective consciousness. The more peace we bring into our lives, the more peace we bring into this world. So let the transformation begin. If we have a good sense of humor, we can see the absurdist comedy, sometimes dark comedy, in our lives. If we take everything too seriously, if we are too attached to the physical world and the world of desire, we will always suffer. It is never our circumstance that prevents us from being happy. Our situation has nothing to do with our happiness. It all comes down to that voice in our head, to what it's saying, how it's saying it, how it's feeling, and ultimately how we are identifying with it. Because it can be a lunatic sometimes, and we can laugh at the lunacy. It can dwell on negative misery, and we can find it hysterical that our own mind is trying to make us forget that we live in an infinite, miraculous, loving universe. That even though we live in a world full of flowers and kittens and puppies, sunsets and rainbows, our mind will choose to focus on the absolute worst things imaginable. If that's not a comedy, a joke, I don't know what is. We all have these incredible bodies that no technology can come close to. And we'll be worried that it's not the most perfect. It's not an Olympian body. It's not tall enough or good looking enough or able to do as much as someone else. But we all can breathe. We all have that Buddha nature deep within us that can find limitless joy from simply sitting under a tree, on a couch, on a bed, in a chair. This potential is available to every single one of us. Not one living being is denied this birthright. Whatever is your misperceived source of suffering is actually the source of your salvation. If you find yourself utterly and totally alone, just depressed, scared, worried about the future and life with nobody, you have the most opportunity to reach this state of everlasting bliss. If you find yourself not as wealthy as you wanted to be, and you're not able to go to all the places you wish you could, and you find your life boring and without the chances to do as much as you'd like, You have the most chance to reach the greatest spiritual heights that anyone ever could. If you have been stricken by disability or illness or pain, again, you have unlimited opportunities to find that source of joy within, the eternal source of happiness. It's never out there. It's never based on the fleeting external pleasures of this world. Those things are delusions that only take us further away from true happiness. I think a lot about people like Elvis or Anthony Bourdain. People who achieved everything that most of us could ever dream of. Wealth, fame, adulation, and praise. And yet, they couldn't appreciate what they had. Elvis had a big mansion, loving fans, and yet all he wanted was the freedom to go outside. We have the freedom to go outside, and all we want are mansions and cars and adoring fans. So it is never going to be the stuff around us that will bring us the lasting happiness that we're really looking for. If we can't stand to be with ourselves, if we can't stand moments of peace. And so this is where the practice lies. This is when we turn that boredom into bliss. And if we can't stand ourselves, then that is where the work lies ahead for us. And just try sitting with yourself for 10 minutes, for 30 minutes, for an hour, and see what that voice inside is doing. See the level of calm that is there. And really don't get up until you find peace peaceful. Or else everything we do is going to be searching for that peace in the wrong direction. Picking up our phone, using substances, it's all just to escape ourselves. Getting that new car smell feeling and living off that high of always buying new things, it's all just to cover up an unhappiness. And the greatest tragedy in our lives isn't the loss or trauma. It is taking life too seriously. It is putting pressure on ourselves to be a certain way, live a certain way, achieve certain things, acquire certain things, which all prevents us from appreciating the blessings we all have. And there is not one of us who is not blessed with the miracle of creation, the miracle of existence. Comedy and tragedy is a point of view. Look for the comedy and you'll always find it. Look for the tragedy and you'll always find it. There is nothing we can't laugh at. And laughter turns tragedy into comedy, into joyous healing. So much of comedy is truly tragedy. It is, someone falling down a manhole or someone's pants falling down. But if it's us, we take it so seriously because we identify with ourselves. And so we have these egos that we identify with, and it gets bruised. But if we can disidentify with these false, illusory egos that do not exist, they are totally mind created, completely imagined, like anything else we imagine, then we will have plenty to laugh about. So much folly, so many hilarious mistakes and things we were totally ignorant of, and endless things to laugh about. If we just don't take ourselves too seriously, and if we don't identify with the ego, the created persona, because we are not these bodies. We are not our names. We are not our ever-changing personality or the collection of our memories and beliefs. We are consciousness watching a show, a virtual reality 3D show. And it may sometimes seem like life or death, but I assure you that that non-material essence of who you are is never in danger, never under threat. And it is just watching the show from the safety of the VR video game console. Every single aspect of reality is totally absurd. The fact that we exist, the fact that we live in these wildly entertaining, chaotic times is proof that this reality is designed for our entertainment and enjoyment. It is truly the greatest, absurdist comedy that our greatest comedy writers could not come up with. It is truly not hard to find something to laugh about. Not someone, but it is everywhere you look. Something is funny if you can shift your perspective. Why humans do the things they do, why we self-sabotage, why we pass on our pain to others and then get surprised when it comes back and hits us in the face, like a pie. Sometimes we can feel like it's inappropriate to smile or laugh. And there are some cultures in the world, especially in places where life is extra difficult, that it seems almost foolish to smile, and that there must be something wrong with a person who's smiling and happy. And I say, change the culture. Change your neighbors by smiling at them. If they don't smile back, laugh it off. I mean, that's hilarious. Life is too short not to smile and laugh. Now, I'm not saying go crack jokes and laugh at a funeral. We still want to be respectful. We don't want to laugh at others and hurt others' feelings. But we can laugh at ourselves. We can laugh at the absurdity of modern life, of human nature, of duck-billed platypuses. Sorry, but they're a very funny species. I personally find that I give myself endless opportunities to laugh at myself. I personally will be smiling wherever I go, and oftentimes people will wave towards me and I'll smile and wave back and assume they're just being polite strangers, and then realize they are waving to someone behind me. And, this could be one of those moments where you just put your head in your hand and you just have so much embarrassment. But I usually die laughing at those moments. When you can joke about something, you take away its negative power over you. Laughter is one of those gut reactions that as soon as it happens, there is a cathartic release that signals to our brain that whatever happened that was so traumatic is nothing that we can't handle and overcome. Sometimes it's hard to laugh, and sometimes it takes a while, but you cannot be angry and joke and laugh about something at the same time. So watch a comedy, read a joke book, read a book on how to be funny, and this can all help us change the way we see the world. Some subjects may be too sensitive for others, but we are allowed to laugh at whatever we want to laugh at. Again, there's a time and a place, but we can hold on to that mindset. We can withhold the laugh if it's in an appropriate time. We can diminish our smile, but feel it on the inside. We just have to remember that it's all a show, that we are safe, and nobody else has access to our mind, and we get to choose how we see and respond to the world around us. And some people will say, well, what if you were in a concentration camp? And I am here to tell you, as the descendant of Holocaust survivors, that it is the comedy in these darkest places that gets us through it. It is the comedy after we survived that helps us heal from the trauma. And it is the jokes that give us our power back and say that they cannot take our sense of humor or our joy for life. My grandma always used to say, nobody can take what's in your mind. My very first spiritual guru. One of my all-time favorite lines from any movie is from the movie V for Vendetta. And Natalie Portman says to Stephen Fry, I believe, she says, "Is everything a joke to you?" She's British. And he says, "Only the things that matter." As long as we take everything so seriously, as long as we are consumed with desires in this physical world, tethered and attached, we are disconnected from our spiritual life, from the spiritual dimension, from that source of all physical phenomena. And we will forever be stuck on that roller coaster of constant ups and downs and chaos. When we can spend some time desireless, detached, and finding that peace within, turning our attention inward, and being completely content without any longing or care in the world, we can see that truth of reality, that hidden layer beneath the surface that is always there, always calm, and always peaceful. And we can know that that is our true home. That is the true source of our existence, beyond thought and beyond experience in the physical world. And we can take that with us as we go throughout our day, and we can feel at home and in peace everywhere we go. And we can simply enjoy the greatest show ever told, with the greatest acting from all our supporting cast members, the most lifelike writing from everyone we see and know. And the more we keep that one foot in our spiritual lives and one foot in the real world, the more that voice in our head will feel safe, secure, and able to laugh at all of the wondrous things in this magical universe. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing and sharing this with your friends. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter at eastwesticism.org. That's eastwesticism.org. And you'll be able to keep up with everything I've been doing. That's where you'll get the raw, unfiltered Todd stories and see what I've been up to, see what's happening in my life, and the spiritual lessons I learned from them. Thank you again. Much love. You have been listening to Path to Peace with Todd Perlmutter. Being here and putting in this important and noble work is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and others. If you found this podcast even a little helpful, please make sure to leave a review so it can reach others who may be in need. And remember, the path to peace starts with a single step.